If you're asked to find the highest common factor of any given set of prime numbers, now how will you do that? And let me explain you with an example. Let us take three prime numbers, and let's say the prime numbers are 5, 11 and 13. Now you know that what we saw in our lecture on highest common factor, we saw that to calculate the highest common factor we take help of prime factorization. That is, all the numbers that are given, first we will find the prime factorization, and then we can calculate the highest common factor from that prime factorization of numbers. But here is a problem. You cannot do prime factorization of prime numbers. Why? Because prime number is only divisible by 1 and by itself. So there is no way that you can write the prime factorization, because 1 is not a prime number. So the only way to write these are, like, you can write 5 as 1 times 5, right? And the factors of 5 therefore will be, the factors of 5 will be 1 and 5. Similarly, for 11 you can only write it as 1 times 11, and therefore factors of 11 will be 1 and 11. Now for 13, this will be 1 times 13, and therefore factors of 13 will be 1 and 13. Now one may think that, hey, since we cannot write the prime factorization of 5, 11, 13 because they are prime numbers, therefore we cannot tell highest common factor because they don't have prime factors. But it's not the case. If you remember, we discussed two ways to find highest common factor, right? The second way was a prime factorization way, and the first one that was a very basic way to find the highest common factor. We can apply it here, right? And that's what, the principal methods are important. Like here, this is the principal method. You first write it in the form of all the possible factors. So 5 can be written as 1 times 5, factors is 1, 5. 11 can be written as 1 times 11, and factors are 1 and 11. 13 can be written as 1 times 13, and factors are 1 and 13. Now you know that highest common factor is nothing else but the greatest common factor, right? So if you look at these three list of factors, then you will say that, hey, 1 is here, 1 is here, and 1 is here, and 1 is the only factor that is common in these three, right? In these three prime numbers, 1 is the only common factor that is is possible. Since 1 is the only common factor, therefore 1 will be the highest common factor itself. Again, I am repeating it. 1 is the only common factor of these three list of factors. Therefore 1 will be the highest common factor, because this is the only common factor, and therefore the greatest one will be 1 itself.